I'm just like, do I look cute? Do I look fine? Let's go.
Yes, yes. Well, we are live. We are live. So I'm excited.
Awesome.
Excited. Let me get my Instagram going because, again, like I said, it's getaway that we're gonna do this today. But all right. Well, welcome, Nieve. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Totally.
I love this opportunity that I have to. I mean, we've connected a while back. I mean, it's actually way back. But just I knew right as I saw you thriving this year, like just this huge fire come out of you. I knew that. I was like, oh man, I want her in my circle. She's the type of person I want to be around because that's the energy, that's just the passion, the courage, the everything that you were showing. So I wanted to take an opportunity to kind of share let you share your story. Of course, we're doing this to inspire moms. I'm broadcasting this on my personal page, but also my Mom Academy that's coming this fall. And really just giving more moms just this vision of where they can end up with, these skills and strategies. And, again, the faith. We're going to talk about faith today. And I think this is a super important topic that not often we talk about, or maybe we just are lacking and we don't know how to strengthen it. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about developing our faith in moments of fear and despair. And I'm going to be interviewing Nieve. And before we jump in, I want to give you an opportunity, Nieve, to introduce yourself. Who are you? What is your passion? And then we'll go from there.
Yes. Well, my name is Nieve Leonor Pacheco. I was born and raised in Lawrence, Massachusetts. So I'm sure you have a great following there. I'm living in Central Florida right now. I wear many hats. I am a mom. I am a wife. I am a sister. I'm a mentor. I'm a disciple. We pastored, for 10 years, a whole decade in San Antonio, Texas as associate pastors, came here almost 4 years ago, and we're just living on purpose day in and day out and figuring things out. But for now, I'm just momming it up, loving to do the mom thing at home. Never thought, ever did I think that I was going to be a stay-at-home mom. And lo and behold, I'm here. But I've seen and understood why.
And we're going to talk about that, right? Today, we'll probably dig a little bit deeper into that. Definitely. I love it. So talk to me. I mean, what really, of course, my son is going to be introducing, interrupting us, by the way, guys. So let's jump right into really what, obviously you were a pastor, you were in the ministry. I mean, you're still in ministering. And then you went through this transition,
yes.
Right? What happened? Like, where did the transition happen? How did you decide to become that stay-at-home mom, and put your foot forward in faith in order to do that?
Well, it took a lot of praying. I'm gonna be honest with you. It took a lot of prayer to be a stay-at-home mom because I blatantly, boldly, out loud in many conversations, I said, I will not be a stay-at-home mom. I went to school, I paid way too much money to be at home, just raising kids. I always thought that it was the worst thing ever to be at home. And God had other plans. I was working in the investment field, working full-time, not 40 hours, about 50 to 60 hours, how the market can get, the investment world. And I was working in ministry full-time. But I began to pray and I just said, God, there has to be more. There has to be more. And the Lord said, yes, there's more. There's more. It's at home. It's at home. And so I really prayed about it because, you have a 2-income household. You're living a 2-income household lifestyle. So you have to begin to kind of be a little more minimalistic and not be as showy or not do the things that you normally do. But I began to see where the Lord wanted me specifically and just how the Lord began to align. So it really took a lot of prayer and it took a lot of conversations. I remember meeting up with my husband many times at the food court at San Antonio, Texas Mall. And just hashing this thing out and talking to him, because that was really our alone time, right? So we were working all day and then going to church and kind of at church ministry related things 6 to 7 days a week. And so we would take that hour and just kind of hash it out. Okay, how are we going to do this? Is this really what God wants us to do? Are we really listening to the voice of God? And I'm doubting, you know, I'm questioning financially. You know, that's a big burden in a marriage and in a family. Finances are really big.
Mm-hmm.
And so really just prayer and conversation and just waiting for the Lord to say, to give me that peace. Mind you, while I was working, it was really anxiety was through the roof. My boss was being some type of way with me. So I started noticing a lot of things. And so I just asked the Lord, open up my eyes to see the way you see. Let me hear the way you hear, because I don't want to make a move based on emotionalism. I want to make sure that what I'm doing is right, not only for me, but for mine, for my home, for my household, and in my marriage. Because, you know, you'll see some things and you'll see how God stretches you. But also I wanted to make sure that this wasn't something that in pursuit of Nieve and not in pursuit of Nieve and company.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think also, you know, because I know a little bit of your backstory, it was in preparation for something that was going to happen.
Yes. And that preparation happened January 5th. She was born January 3rd, Isabela Luisa. Isabela Luisa was born, and we call her Lulu. That's her persona on the gram.
Yeah.
She was born January 3rd, 2020. The stretching or the affliction or how the craziness and the understanding of where I am now started January 5th. I was pregnant with her, never understanding or never revealed that she was coming with heart defects at all. You know, I have a friend that her child was born with the same exact situation, but she was prepped. She knew, she had the knowledge of it. I had none. So here I am, January 5th, about to discharge from the hospital. We literally were discharged. We signed the paperwork. You know the drill. We signed the paperwork. They kind of clip everything off, take everything off. Baby had her onesie. She was ready to go. January 5th, a nurse comes running into my room. My husband, by the way, has the car seat. I mean, I'm talking about everything was said and done. We're leaving the hospital. Nurse comes flying in, rushing in and saying, wait, you're not going anywhere. You have to wait for the doctor. And so here we are in this room without our daughter. Our daughter's in another room because they're doing this whole shock test here in Florida with the car seat. I don't know if that's done everywhere else in the US. They're doing this whole shock test. And I'm like, okay, well, that's scary. But it was the least thing that I expected when a doctor comes in that we've been waiting for over 2 hours, that came from the Children's Hospital here in Orlando, and says, hey, brings in like a 5-sheeter saying, she has this, she has this, she has this, she has that. Your daughter is going straight to the cardiac ICU in the Children's Hospital in Orlando because she was born with multiple heart defects. So in other words, she was born with congenital heart defects. And my world crumbled. My world and my husband's world completely, like I've never felt anything in my life this traumatic, this weighty, like you literally feel like this is surreal. Like, is this really happening to me? Like, is this really happening? And our world, I just felt like it was so surreal, like it was an outer body experience. And as we're receiving this news, I'm like hearing her, but at the same time, I'm just listening, womp, 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 womp.
Right.
But trying to collect myself to listen and stay calm and kind of listen to everything that she's telling me or throwing at me in this short amount of time, right before they wheel in my daughter in this incubator after being all cued up, right, with her onesie, her selected hat that was customized to say Isabela. And all of a sudden I see my baby girl in diapers, stripped of all of that, in an incubator, wheeled in by this personnel of women that looked like, I can only imagine that they looked like Ghostbusters, all dressed in blue, and saying, say goodbye to your daughter.
Oh gosh.
You have to take her and you can't come with us. So imagine that. Imagine imagine the idea of having to leave the hospital without your daughter. And I can understand with a lot of families, because I've never had a child in the NICU. But not only is she not going to be in a NICU there, but she's going to somewhere completely different. And I can't go. I can't go at that very moment. So here I am leaving that hospital room, walking out that January evening, completely cold outside, and just shocked, in complete and utter shock. It wasn't until I got home that I just got into my bedroom. My husband said, you know what, you need to rest up and you can see her tomorrow. I'm going to spend the night. I'm going to take a quick shower. I'll head to the hospital, but you stay here tonight. Just stay here tonight. I don't know if that was the best thing or the worst thing I could have done, because here I have 2 kids at home. My friend was here taking care of them. And I get home and I see the welcome home, baby girl. I see the gifts and the balloons with no child in arms. And I was in so much utter shock. My children thankfully were sleeping at that time. And I began to take a shower and I just began to weep. This agonizing cry that I had never, ever in my life experienced, and that I would wish, I can't wish that on anyone, to ever have to cry the way that I cried that moment. And I could just imagine the many women that cry that cry, whether because they've received a diagnosis, because their children have passed, because of miscarriage, whatever it may be, this motherly, innate cry of desperation and, good Lord Almighty, what am I going to do? And I just began to weep. That's all I knew how to. I didn't question him. I didn't ask him, the Lord. I didn't say, why me? I just understood and said to the Lord, and these were my very words. I said, you are still good and you are still God. I repeated it again. You are still good and you are still God. And then I said this. I said, God, if you decide to take her with you, I will still serve you and I will still love you. I won't be mad at you, Father. But if you decide to leave me, Isabela, with us, give me the strength to endure everything that lies ahead. That was that. I wept and more weeping was yet to come. A lot of weeping. But I knew that I could not be angry at my God. I could not be angry at him.
Wow. I mean, I don't even know how I would respond to a situation like that. I don't think my faith is deep enough, and I think, but here's the thing is, I feel like you had mentioned before, there was some preparation that God was preparing you for. And I think that's where that faith comes in, when moments like that happen in our life, we're given this viewpoint, this vision, and almost like kind of like the reel, when you're looking back at your life and you're like, oh, okay, God does love me. He does have my back. He was preparing me for something greater and bigger and beautiful, no matter how ugly that looks in the moment. And so, the work that you were doing prior to that, I think absolutely, right, prepared you for this moment. But even in that though, like, there are many faithful women out there. There's so many women that have, that are, truly converted and, doing the work. They're praying on a daily basis. They're reading, they're studying, they're in ministry, they're serving. But then something like this happens, right?
Right.
And fear does start to come into your life. Like, so what do you do? And like, you can do all the work, but now is the true trial of your faith.
Right. Now is the true test of your faith. Do you really trust him? Are you really like we would say, is that really my ride or die? Am I really gonna stand by him? And am I trusting that he's gonna stand by me no matter what it looks like? And we read all of this in the word, and we read amazing stories, but we're like, well, these are stories and they happened way back when, and that's I can't imagine that happening to me.
Mm.
And when you're faced with the true test of your faith, I understood that I was prepared for such a time. Why? Because I was beginning to do a lot of heart work before this actually happened. A lot of things were testing our faith. A lot of things were bogging down our mind. There were a lot of people that rose up against us. There were a lot of friends that withered away. There were a lot of things that even in that own right, you would question God or doubt God, because you're already dealing with sadness, with loneliness, with rejection, with fear of transitioning from living a decade in Texas, having family and friends, a community, and coming all the way to Florida, to Central Florida, and have nothing of that sort, have absolutely no ministry, no community, no friends, no nothing. And so just trusting God in that. And I began to do the hard work and say, God, I'm going to meet you in that secret place. I'm going to begin to call out on your name. And I want to build this relationship that I thought I had when I was in the midst of everyone, when I was coaching people, when I was preaching, when I was evangelizing, when I was speaking at a pulpit, when I was on the altar, when I was in those counseling sessions. I thought I knew you. I thought I knew you. I really had no clue that you had so many more layers to you. So I began to know God in a whole new facet. And that's when I began to grow dependency in him, because now I could no longer depend on the people around me. I could no longer depend on my community, on my church. None of the sorts. I had no title per se, right? So there was no title to lean back on. I had no job, I was working when I was in San Antonio in investments. I was making great money. I was in my field, in my realm of expertise. Now all of that is stripped completely away. The onion is literally being peeled back. And all of a sudden I'm finding myself, finding my true self, and knowing me in my thoughts, and knowing, okay, Nieve, you suck. Like, were you this way or were you that way? Or Nieve, how could you, so God began to reveal to me who I truly was before this whole traumatic experience happened, right? So I began to seek the Father. I began to depend on him and say, Lord, I'm dealing with this. I'm dealing with envy. I'm dealing with rejection. I'm dealing with sadness. I'm dealing with loneliness. I'm going into a cycle of depression. God, I need you to help me now before that thing begins to take root in my heart, in my spirit. I'm dealing with anxiety, God. So all these things began to surface. And to go back to your question, it takes a moment of a come to Jesus moment, I would say, right? A come to Jesus moment to know that, okay, I need you, God. And so that is where truly my preparation began. Here in the quietness, in my thoughts, when my kids were at school and I'm here and applying for a cajillion jobs and no one's hiring. And I'm like, am I really going to is this like the reality for me? And like settling in to this truth. And so as all that was happening within these 4 years, 2020, I have her, I'm in this hospital room, and I began to lean into God. In that fear, I just began to worship. I would close the door. My daughter was there for the 3 weeks that they could not figure out what to do with her heart, because it was such a delicate situation. So fear was high. Fear was every which way, because they were taking her case from hospital to hospital, from doctor to doctor, not only nationally, but internationally, because they had 3 different ways of how they could probably do this reconstruction of her heart. They were thinking maybe we'll just use half of her heart and reconnect everything to half of her heart, and that's all she'll use. Or we'll kind of do half of the surgery now and then half of the surgery later. And so I'm listening to the head, the director of this unit, of this cardiac ICU unit that has 5 children, and he's understanding and compassionate. Thank God, he was an angel. Mm-hmm. But in all of my fear, sis, honestly, this isn't because some people would be like, girl, that sounds a little too good to be true. That sounds a little too fairy tale. But sis, honestly, it took a set of a preparation for me to get to this point. And so because I began to do the heart work early on, I was able to sing to him. I was able to praise him in the storm. You know, I was able to worship him behind closed doors, and they're looking at me. There's a camera set in her room, but I began to lift up my hand and say, God, you're good. You're worthy. You're awesome. You are still good and you are still God. And no matter what, I'm going to continue to endure this. Every single morning, sis, they would come in and there was a pharmacist, a surgeon, a anesthesiologist, nurses, all these people speaking about her case every single day. And every single day, I'm just listening and they're telling me nothing's changed, or she got worse, or now we have to do after, you know, she's not eating very well. So you can't feed your baby. You're going to have to pump it out and we're going to have to feed her. And so all these things are happening. But in the midst of the fear, I chose not to doubt. I chose to believe. I chose to follow him every single day. Every moment that I went and drove to the hospital room, I did whatever crying I needed to do in the car. It was about an hour and a half to get there with rush hour and all, dropping off my kids in the morning to school, right? Because I need to be
a mom.
A mom. I need to be aware. I need to be alive. I need to be focused because life is still going on, sis. Like I need to talk to them about how not, you know, to fall into bullying, how not to be bullied. Oh, you got honor roll? Okay, great. Let's figure this out so mommy or daddy can go and see you. While my heart is grieving, my heart is heavy. But I just began to ask the Lord, guard my heart, God, guard my heart. Give me your peace, surround me with your peace, because I need to be cool, calm, and collected for these other 2. Like I can't fail them right now just because this is all happening. And trust me, there was no light, you know, there was no, this isn't a light situation. But I decided and I chose to follow Jesus, no matter what it looked like. Beyond the fear, beyond the situation that was so heavily present. And when I would get to that bedroom, I wouldn't cry. I'd try not to. And when I felt like I had to cry, I wouldn't share that with my daughter because I wanted her to know mommy's here, mommy's present, and mommy's fighting with you. And we're going to worship and we're going to fight and we're going to be prayer warriors. And I would speak over her life. And I would tell her that her brother and sister missed her. Mind you, all of this was happening and we're about to head into a pandemic. We're about to head into a pandemic. So to make this whole story on what happened with her short, right? Because it's a very lengthy story and we're still believing for her complete and true healing. January 21st, she went into open heart surgery, and that was about an 8 to 9 hour. I don't know what to call it, but it was crazy. Yeah. So we had to prepare the night before. This was nurses and everybody coming in and out all night, prepping. And we're being woken up, you know, at 6 o'clock in the morning to prep for her to go in about 8 o'clock. Right. So the room is filled with tons of people. And, you know, my baby girl goes in 3 weeks later, goes in for her heart surgery. She comes back to her room. The doctor comes to see us and says, it went better than expected. When we went in, mind you, they do x-rays, they do ultrasounds, they do everything to check right before. Right. They said, we didn't find everything that we saw. It went better than expected. All we could do was praise and worship, honey. We just thank God. Thank you, God. She comes back in. February, that was January 21st. She's still in the hospital. February 13th, she had stomach surgery because she had very severe GERD, So that was another journey we had to endure, because not only did she have stomach surgery, but she had a G tube placed in. And so now we have to feed our child through a tube. And so enduring all of this, it was a lot. It was scary, because they said, she's doing good. Everything looks good in her heart. It's marching great. Better than expected. But right now we don't know how long she'll need a G tube, when she'll actually be able to feed by mouth. So now I'm like, Lord, why am I so fearful of this? Seeing my baby eating through a G tube than when it's crazy. The devil is a liar. I'm telling you, the devil is a liar. And so we brought her home, feeding her through a G tube, and I'm pumping to feed this G tube that in turn feeds her. Right. And her surgery was February 13 for her G tube and her stomach surgery. Easter weekend, Good Friday, done. I am done. My daughter is not, I said I was done, sis. That week, I remember walking, and I had seen a calf. Tú sabes, ¿cómo se dice eso? Amamantando. She was breastfeeding of her cow mother, right?
Yep.
What's crazy is that the cow is so interesting to me, because, mind you, when I was pregnant with my daughter, we go to get an ultrasound done. And, if you get these ultrasounds that you pay for, they give you this whole plushie toy and everything. My daughter, from all the plushie toys, decides to get a cow. And I'm like, baby girl, why are you getting a cow? Like, really, a cow? I'm like, how about the bunny or the teddy bear? She's like, no, mommy, I want the cow. I want the cow. And so they put the little heart with the heartbeat of the baby. Mind you, when Isabela Lulu got her heart surgery, the membrane that they put to expand and to reconstruct her heart was cow membrane. Wow. Okay. So tell me that can't be a coincidence. So then I go for my walk. Isabela's already done with her heart surgery. We have her home. And I'm just crying out. I'm literally weeping in la carretera, on the road, walking. And I just said, God, I need you to perform this miracle. If your creation can do what it needs to do to feed itself, my daughter has to do the same. So I don't know where I summoned all this faith, where I was so encouraged seeing that calf. This happened that week prior to Good Friday. Good Friday, I said, you know what? I grabbed the baby, put her to my breast. I put her to my nipple. And I said, you are going to feed in the name of Jesus. I am expecting a Good Friday. This isn't just a Good Friday. This is a good Friday. I am expecting the power of God, the resurrection power of Jesus Christ, to perform a miracle. Because I believe that Jesus still does miracles, that God still performs miracles. Honey, she suckled at my breast, and I just stayed quiet. I said, she still has a G tube, right? I plugged that G tube back. I said, she's hungry now. It's time for a feeding, right? She doesn't cry to tell me she's hungry. I just got to feed her through this G tube. But I decided to suckle her at my breast, and she began to suckle. 3 hours later, I do this again. I put her back, and this time she's actually eating. Like, I can feel my breast, the milk coming down, sis. Like, I could literally feel the milk rushing out. Mind you, I never breastfed much with any of my other two. This time I was like, God, you about to perform miracles through me. Like, you're about to do something big and grand. Honey, from that weekend forward, she never turned back to feed on that G tube. Mind you, when I went to the gastroenterologist and spoke to her, I said, my baby's feeding. She is no longer using that G tube, and I refuse to open up that G tube for her to have to feed through it. You better take that thing out. And she was like, oh, no, this is too quick. You never know, because your daughter may need to get medication through there. Wait till she has like a fever. Her teeth are growing in. I'm like, okay, God, we're about to prove to man that you are still good, and that you are still God, and that you are a living God that performs miracles. Sis, her teeth start coming out. She gets a fever. I said, okay, this is the time. We are not going through that. I'm prepping myself and talking to Isabela at the same time. Like, we do it. We in this together, right? Like, she's just looking at me like, Mom, like, take care of me. let's just get over it. And I grabbed that Tylenol, put it in her mouth, and like a champion, she drank that thing. Telling you, dicho y hecho, they went, removed it. I took her back. I said, take the G tube out. I am an advocate for my daughter. I know very well what I'm doing. From that day forward, sis, it wasn't that doctor that told me. It was a pediatrician that I had never, the baby's pediatrician that came to me and said, Nieve, Mom, you are an advocate for your daughter, and I love the way you advocate for her. Never did I say this to her. I didn't say the word advocate, and she literally came and affirmed and reconfirmed what I knew in my heart I was doing right. I was advocating for her because I knew that God performed a miracle, and I was going to give God the glory, and I wasn't going to let man take it away.
I love that, and that's what you did the whole time. Is I love that you, first off, never doubted him, never blamed him, never asked why me. You never became a victim through everything. And I think that's what I've captured the most from your story. And I mean, there's so many nuggets from it, but it's the ability to not victimize your situation, right? It's glorifying him. And I think it's just your testimony, everything that you've been through is an example of the miracles that can come when we just let go. When we let go of everything, all our goals, we let go of our expectations, we let go of where we believe we need to be. Like, it's letting complete go. And that's exactly what you did. You were so obedient.
Amen.
You were so obedient. And like you mentioned earlier on, but I wanted to bring this back because I think that there's power behind this. It's when you remove yourself from your common environment, from your comfortable environment, from your circle of influence, and you remove yourself and put yourself in a new environment where you are forced to trust and put greater faith. It's the perfect situation to do so, to grow, because you are forced to rely on no one else but him.
That's it.
So if I think, and I wanted to just kind of, for those of you that are watching live, it's like, are you struggling? Are you struggling with your faith? Are you living in fear? Are you seeing constant struggle rather than abundance? What's your environment look like? Who's your circle of influence? Where, what are you trusting? What idol are you looking up to? What idols are you looking to? Because again, sometimes our goals, and I just posted this the other day, our goals can become idols, and so our success can be an idol. Yes. Our rankings, all those things that we all kind of venture towards can be idols. And I think this is a reminder that, that's not what God wants. Yes, he will glorify, he will glorify you too, right? Yeah. He will give you all the blessings in abundance, but that doesn't come till later. That doesn't come until we let go of everything.
That's right.
And that's the perfect example. And it's not saying that every situation is the same, but it's the example of what the ability of having such great faith and letting go can do in our lives.
That's right.
And is there something in your life that you haven't let go of, that you're holding on so tightly because it's your protection, it's your what do you call it, your safety blanket, your backup plan, right? And you can't let it go? Maybe that's where the opportunity is.
That's right. And let me put that on a flip side. Sometimes, a lot of times, we idolize even the situations that we are facing. What does that mean? Sometimes we are so desperate for a miracle that no longer are we desperate for God. That all we bring to the Father is my miracle. I need my miracle. I need this to happen. I need this to happen, God. And so our focus, we begin to even idolize our situation. We begin to idolize the fact that we need this, that we need, and then in turn, not only because we're idolizing it, this thing is going before me, is going before my purpose. So, and I found myself doing that. I found myself where my pain was going before me. I was so desperate for my miracle that I began to lean on, okay, God, you know, everything that I spoke about was Isabela. And I can't do that either. Whether it's a victory or a burden, I need to know to simultaneously surrender those two things. I need to know that to God be the glory. Because if Isabela has to deal with something for the rest of her life, I need to understand that God is still good and that God is still God. Sis, you still there? I think we lost her. I think we lost her, guys. God is still good and God is still God. I don't know. I think we kind of lost her. Let's see. I'm texting her. Let's see. Joe Mari said, Nieves, I'm so happy to see you now on Facebook. Whoop, whoop. Yes, we are. We're on Facebook. We sure are. Okay. God is still good and God is still God. Yes, he sure is. Alba, God bless you. Guys, am I taking over? I'm here texting Natalie. I've never used this platform before. So I just noticed that there's a comment section. And so I decided, does anybody want to comment anything while we're waiting for Natalie to jump on? I'm sure she's having, obviously, technical difficulties. But if there's anything that you have a question on, anything on your heart, definitely please ask away. I don't want to, she's saying, hold on. She's almost back.
Here we go. Oh my gosh.
No worries, sis.
Dude, I was so stressed out.
No. I went into the comments and just began to read.
Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys for being so patient. I had to just jump off Instagram so I can respond to you. It was like everybody on Instagram, guys, go on my Facebook. You can continue watching it.
Girl, it happens to the best of us.
Oh Lord, you were going into a word. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
The devil is alive.
Yes. And Alba's on here live. She's like, okay, I'll jump on your Facebook.
Honey, God is still good and he is still God. And what I was stating was that sometimes we idolize the situation that we have. And so because it was so fresh in my heart, and that's okay. It's okay because we'll deal with things differently, right? But I began to notice that my language had changed a lot. And so that everything, my tone of voice, my language, was always talking about the same situation, the same scenario. And it's not to take away from your testimony and what you're believing on. But if that's all you can talk about, really check your heart. Really check your heart. And figure out, is there something, are you even idolizing your situation? Is your situation going before you? Is that like, it's like wearing your heart on your sleeve, right? Mm-hmm. And woe me, pity me. Really, it's really what you can be dealing with. And so I kind of made this my whole focus and wasn't dealing with the heart of the matter, which was my heart, right? So even then, we can create idols of our victories and our past glories and the things that are in front of us and the things that we're conquering. But we can also idolize the situation at hand and be so manipulative in our prayer to God because we are in such desperation for our miracle that we forget, God, you're still good and you're still God. We know that you're going to perform. We know that you're going to outperform anything that we could ever do. So whether I receive my miracle now instantaneously, whether I receive my miracle progressively, or whether I don't see that particular miracle that I've been praying for come to fruition, you are still good and you are still God. So when we begin to take the focus off of that thing, and just give him the glory. Just praise him because you got breath. Just praise him because you're walking and talking. Just praise him because we should not take life for granted, because we are still here and we're still walking on purpose. And there's other things that are matters in God's hands that we should be putting in his hands. And could that be the thing that God wants to use for him to be glorified? That the more that you seek him in the middle of your storm, rather than just always bringing him that thing back up, that he knows, like he knows, he's God. He knows he knows. Rather than saying this, so this is what I learned. Rather than saying, God, heal my daughter, God, I know that God, heal my daughter, and bringing the situation. And yes, we have those moments of prayer, but rather than bringing that to his feet every single day, I'd rather say, God, teach me how to focus on what she needs today. What do I need to work on? What motor skills does she need help with? What should I feed her today, God? Invite him into your daily environment. Invite him into your daily plans and agenda. God wants to be in the details. He's going to perform in that big thing. That thing is finished. I know that God told me that a few months ago. Nieve, that thing is finished. That thing is finished. But you're not. So in the midst of the storm, you need to continue to seek me. You need to continue to ask me, what's my heart? What's my heart for you? What does purpose look like for you? Not the grandiose purpose that you're hoping for or that you're praying, that you've been seeking out for, but what is your daily purpose, Nieve? Who can you serve today? I want to refresh you. And there's a scripture that I live life on. I live life on this scripture, and it's in Proverbs. I don't have it in front of me.
I was about to write it.
No, honey, I'm gonna get it for you. I'm gonna get it.
Get it.
I know it's in here, and I believe it's in Proverbs 11. I'm gonna get it for you, and if not, remind me, because I'm gonna share it with you, and I'll share it.
Totally. Yep.
But it says when we refresh others. This is simple, sis. When we refresh others, God refreshes us. That's all. When we choose to refresh others, when we choose to satisfy someone else's need, when we choose to text somebody and see how they're doing in the middle of our storm, when we choose to hug somebody when we're in the severe need of a hug, when we go and give an encouraging word when we're very much in need of that encouraging word. Believe you me, sis, that God will refresh you. He does not stay with anything. He does not. And trust me that the blessing is that much greater. You think that you're going to receive the blessing that you just gave to someone else? Honey, no. Because the blessing is coming straight from God. And so that blessing is going to be so much greater. And he will bless you not only on that thing that you just did, not bless you with that hug that you needed, but bless you even in the desires of your heart, even in the needs of your heart, even the things that you haven't even prayed for because you thought they were so silly and so unnecessary. But God is in the details, because to him, details matter. So continue to refresh others. So that's where Sisters Check-In came about. This, when we refresh others, God will refresh.
I love that. And that's good, perfect leeway into what resources are you creating or have you created to help women who are seeking this spiritual being, so that they can continuously work on this, so they can continuously develop this muscle, and do so in an environment that allows them to do so without judgment, without expectations. What do you currently have going on?
So in light of, all the situations at hand, back in July 2020, I started this thing called Sisters Check-In. And that's basically it, sisters checking in. And God just told me, hey, you're going to do this for 6 months, and I'll tell you what to do and how to do it. going on forward. And so we did it. We did it for 6 months. We wrapped up and I just began to pray. I said, God, is this it? Is this done? Is this over with? Or do you have something? I'm very prayerful about everything that I do because I don't want to just do anything, sis. I want to make sure that I'm filling a void. I want to make sure that I'm refreshing. I want to make sure that I'm also relevant, right? Is there am I being relevant? Is there an actual need? Or are you just trying to kill time? Or are you just trying to be Nieve and be in everybody's faces, right? Because your ego and your pride can go in front of you. Yep. And as I prayed for 2 months, God said, you know what? You're ready. Let's go. There's some women that need this thing. So we created this thing called Sisters Check-In. And so now you can go and register at sisterscheckin.com. We're actually meeting tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so we're talking about, we started up again now with an actual structure, because before it wasn't very structured. We were just kind of a free for all, everything that's going on, let's just tack and let it off our shoulders. But now God said, you know what? I want you to teach these women that are going to come on board about the heart of the matter. And this is what you're going to start with. So I was very prayerful and really honed in onto what God wanted to do with us, because I understood that that's what God did for me. And that's what God did with me, that he began to clean my heart, reveal to me my heart, and reveal his heart for me. So I began to have identity in him. I began to be okay in my skin and enjoy life and understand that when he says that we have life and life in abundance in him, chaos can still be running amok around us. Yes. And you can still have life in abundance. Everything don't got to look perfect in order to live life in abundance. So I understood that. So God began to create identity in me. And so I want to share this thing and these things, these nuggets, these tools, this empowerment for women all over. We have women from California, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, North Carolina, Texas, Florida. We have women from all over that get on. I mean, we start at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have somebody that gets on at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard, whatever that time is, but 7 a.m. to jump on and just be filled with some word that I honestly take my time to receive this download from God so that I can upload it to these amazing women. And I strive and I thrive on that thing to make sure that I'm actually living what I preach, right? That I've learned what I'm talking about, that I've picked up these tools. And now I'm just kind of saying, okay, here you go, here you go, here you go. So 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sisters Check-In, amazing tools. We only meet twice a month. So only twice a month, normally the first week of the month and the third week of the month. And we're starting we are on the second session of the heart of the matter, pun intended, is the heart, right? The centralization of everything is the heart, because what speaketh the mouth is from the abundance of the heart. So how we carry ourselves, how we maneuver, what we give to the world, is everything that's really happening in here. And especially with mental health and whatnot, all of that really is what's residing in here, right? So we're going to change and shift some things. And so we introduced what happens when we filter in what's happening in their mind into the heart, what funnels in. And tomorrow, I'm so excited to talk about confronting, dealing, and healing. And this specific thing, and it's called "It Ends With Me," because I wrote it down because I always forget. It's this specific quote always sits with me. It ran in my family until it ran into me. So we're going to talk about vicious cycles. We're going to talk about generational curses. We're going to talk about a lot of things that we pick up along the way because we're so prone to do. We grew up doing these things, because of culture, society, whatever that looks like, things that happen to us. We don't want to continue on that way because we have to live on purpose. So we got to do some soul searching, right? Some heart work to make sure that that's not what we're giving off, but that we're not giving a version of ourselves, but the whole Nieve, the whole Natalie. All right. And so some other tools that I could also mention is some books. One of the books that have really helped is Woman of All by Sarah Jakes Roberts. This is a really good tool. So if you're looking, it says break up your fears and revolutionize your life. At first I read it and I was like, this is so gimmicky, right? That's the first thing we think. But this is really a good tool. It really, it makes you do the heart work. It makes you do some soul searching. So it's really such an amazing tool right now. This book just came out. One of the tools that I use is to prep me for such a time as this and to endure the things that I endured with Isabela was this one. Secrets of the secret place. The secret place, as we understand, is when we are in it with God, when we are in that place that God meets us. And that place may look like a bedroom, like a closet. That may look like your shower. That may look like whatever that looks like for you, your walk, your secret place. Secrets of the secret place is in every language imaginable, really. It's on Amazon. You can find this on Amazon. So these two books are really good resources that I can, there we go, that I can mention. Another one that I'm reading right now, and I'm just sharing with you guys what I'm doing, right? Yes. That I think are working because they work with me. I'm sure it's bound to work with someone else. This is a devotional by Priscilla Shirer. Priscilla Shirer, she's an amazing, just an amazing teacher. She just has this amazing flow. She's just so nurturing and she knows God, man. She just knows God. So Priscilla Shirer, it's called Awaken. It's a 90-day devotional. Get you this book. It's really good. I can go on and on and on. There's so many amazing tools, but there will never be a better tool than this. Mm-hmm. The Bible. The Bible. It is the living word. It is still fresh today like it was 2,000 years ago. So continue. And let me tell you something, that when you get into these books, like even a devotional, you always find a verse there. So if you're looking, instead of just kind of, right, because we usually like kind of, let's see what's good today. Let's see what's going to speak to me today. Instead of doing that, one of the things that I can challenge you to do, if I may, is grab your devotional. And when it finishes off with like these 3 verses, like it normally does, go into your word. Go into your word and I challenge you not to read only the verse, but read the before and the after and understand the context, the geography, the reasoning behind that verse. Don't just look at it as, okay, this was encouraging for me today, but why was it encouraging? Why is it encouraging today? Because this happened so long ago. Mm-hmm. What happened in that context to that person? Why was God telling them that at that time? All right. So that just makes us more hungry for the word, more hungry in turn, more hungry for God and our prayer life and all of these amazing things like faith increases exponentially.
I love that. I love that. And I know you have some incredible things coming along too in the near future, which will definitely keep everybody in our community updated on that. Because like I mentioned before, I definitely want to collaborate, continue being there for you, supporting that vision. Because again, like, we all have different gifts and talents, and there's just aspects that I'm not good at. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not supposed to be, I'm not supposed to be good at everything, right. I have my gifts and I'm using it in the way that God has designed me to. And you have incredible gifts as well. And you're using it the way God has designed you to. And it's just like, the body of Christ, like each body, each piece of the body works together to bring others to him. And that's what I truly believe is that, this is the theme that I've had all week. It's talking about, we all have a certain destination we're trying to reach, but I don't think God wants us to focus so much on the destination. It's the journey, it's the in between. It's the, he wants us to not rush to the destination, because sure, you get to the end, but then what about the in between? What did you miss out on? What were the opportunities of missionary work, ministry that you missed out on doing throughout that journey because you were so focused on the destination? And that's like, it's been ruminating in my heart for like this week, especially because of the messages and the scriptures I've been reading. It's that message of like, first off, you got to let go of the goal.
That's right.
Let go of that. Don't worry about it. Focus on the journey.
Yes.
Make sure that, are you aligned with what you're supposed to be doing right now? And I love that you said that, like being in the present moment, like it's in the little things throughout your day. How can I be better at this moment? Not, 10 years from now, like it's in this moment. Stop seeking the miracles, which I love, seeking the personal growth. What do I need to grow? How do I need to grow? And then what do I do with that? What do I do with that download, like you said? and how do I pay it forward for others to be blessed as well. So I love this message. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful that you have taken this time to share your testimony, to share your incredible resiliency and faith through fear and despair and just the unknown, and just the leadership that you've kind of grown into, even more so than before, because I know you were already a leader, but it's flourishing, and I love that. And I know you're going to change so many women's lives because of your story and testimony and the incredible work that's ahead for you. And I love that Alba is going to join you tomorrow morning.
Alba, I can't wait to have you.
Yeah. And you know what? Let me tell you, last year, I started a Saturday devotionals. And we were doing it every Saturday. And it was really simple. It was like, let's start in a certain chapter. We're going to read and just go from there. And then whatever we're inspired to share and so on. We just kind of finished it off this past month and kind of ended it. There was just people kind of going on their way. And I was like, man, where can I send these women? Because I know there's women that are still hungry for faith. And so thank you for sharing this, because I hope that the women who have been part of my devotionals can come into Sisters Check-In.
Awesome.
I know there are women that are still hungry for that sisterhood, and also, just building that relationship and not doing it alone. Because I know that many people are missing church or have lost their church or for whatever reason,
Right.
We don't need to stop. We don't need to stop developing that relationship. So for any of you guys who have been part of my devotionals, there you go. You got Sisters Check-In. I'm going to try to jump in when I can as well, because I know that you have incredible work, and again, you just have such an incredible gift for teaching the gospel that I don't have. So and I love.
Oh, God, we are partnering. That's for sure. You coach you some women, and I'll preach the word. And we'll work hand in hand.
Yes. Any final words that you want to share before we jump off?
I'm just blessed and honored to continue to flow and to flourish in this realm of what God has called me to do. And I just pray that this moment isn't just another moment, but is a moment to continue to awaken our hearts that it's okay. We may be dealing with a lot. We may be fearful. We may not have done everything that we needed to do to prepare for the affliction that we're actually dealing with. And that's okay, sis. I want you to know that God is still here for you, that God is for you, that he is with you, that he goes before you. He knows the end to your story, but he still wants to write your story. So however your faith may be, whether you think, man, God, who are you? I have no faith. Or, I'm kind of inching my way through and trying to figure this thing out and kind of tippy-toeing around it. Let me tell you, sis, there's no better day than today. There's no better day than today. If there's anything that I personally can do for you, I've said this time and time again, child of God, slide into my DM and ask me for prayer. I will pray for you. I will pray for you, because I will walk you through this thing called relationship with the Father, because it is not about a religion. It's about a relationship. And I want you to flow in everything that the Lord has placed in your hands, to maximize that thing greatly, because you have purpose. I mean, you are alive. So we know that if we are still alive, we still have great purpose to fulfill. And I just don't want you to continue life believing something differently, cast down or led astray because somebody didn't believe in you, or because you haven't received the approval that you've been wanting or the encouragement that you needed and desired. Believe that God is with you. Believe that God is for you. And if I can do anything personally, I would love to, because I want you to understand that if you are alive and well today, and you may not be well, but the simple fact that you are alive, you have purpose. And I want to help you maximize that to the fullest of your potential, because God is depending on you. I know that sounds crazy, but God is depending on you as well to do what he's called you to do, to be whole, not only for yourself, but for your little yous.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And last thing, where can our followers here find you on Instagram?
Instagram, literally like my name, Nieve Leonor Pacheco, that whole name, at Nieve Leonor Pacheco. You'll find me on Facebook. You'll find me on Instagram. You'll even find me now on TikTok because of this little lady over here to get on TikTok. So I was like, hey, let's dabble as well. And then you can also find Sisters Check-In page on Facebook and Sisters Check-In page at Sisters Check-In on Instagram.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much, Nieve, for this opportunity. I hope that there are many, many women's hearts changed and lifted up and encouraged. And again, hopefully many more join you on the Sisters Check-In, because there's going to be a lot more miracles that are going to happen because of your incredible faith and example and leadership. So thank you again so much. We're going to jump off here and join me guys next week for our next guest speaker. Looking forward. I'm twisting it up a little bit. We have a dad joining us. Dad. So let's mix this up, because we always talk about moms, but how about dads, right? So next week I have a special guest coming, and stay tuned for the details for that. And thank you guys so much, and I can't wait to continue serving you guys, helping you guys to just be greater leaders, greater parents, mothers, and soon to be fathers as well, just to encourage you guys in your journey and helping you to just keep continuing that faith, because it's, no matter how hard or incredibly difficult right now may seem, there's really good days coming. Like, I know there's just great things coming, and I'm just excited. I'm excited for all the good things coming. So I will see you guys. And I hope you guys have an incredible weekend, and maybe we'll see you guys tomorrow on Sisters Check-In.
See you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.